Hello everyone, it's FARMSIMGUY here, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to Upper Mississippi River Valley. We are back. If you remember in the first episode we had mowed our clover and we'd windrowed it and we'd started the bales on it, and as you can see, if I spin round here a little bit, we've got a rather substantial field of bales. Now the white is still going over there in the background, baling away. We're just doing the headlands now with the windrower, so the baler is not far behind us actually. Runs a lot faster than this, so it's very much caught us up as we've worked our way down the field. Now, my plan next is to head back to the yard. We're going to pick up the bale spike and we're going to pick up the bale wrapper, and we are going to wrap these in the field with a stationary wrapper. Something actually I've never done before, so looking forward to do something a bit different. But what we'll do, we'll run around these headlands a couple of times, get as much of this off the field as we can. It's actually quite hard with this texture to see what's cut and what's not. Actually looks a little bit better further away, but the detail close up kind of lulls you into a sense of there isn't much crop on the ground. But as you can see, we've gone for 100 and, I think they're 150 centimetre bales, and they are pretty big, 7,500 litres per bale in there, so that's going to give us a tidy amount of silage. So we'll wrap these at the edge of the field, like I said, and then they can sit there and ferment, and we'll come and grab them as and when we need them to feed the cows. Maybe not the most practical, but I wanted to try something different, so we'll give it a go. So we'll let this guy just finish off these headlands, and then we will run this back to the farm and pick up the other bits and pieces we need. So we will see you in a minute or so. And here we are. Here is the tractor back. Final part of the field, all gone undusted. Did well to not end up colliding with any bales either. Look, I mean, that's pretty close, but we got away with it. We got away with it. So he's going to fold up at the end here, and we'll swap over and send that worker back home, and he can go on his merry way. Look at that. Even those two didn't collide with each other. That was lucky. Right, so there we go. Fold it up. And we can head home now with this. The bale has just headed off on its headlands now, so he won't be too far behind us. So let's get the second round of things going, and then we can hopefully get to feed the animals some point today. Right, we've just rolled in the shed here. We are going to pick up the bale spike. Something like that. And we will run back to the field with this on, and the static wrapper, which we can see is parked just outside here. So let's grab this. And we'll see you back at the clover field. Right, here we are. Now, I am unsure as to what happens here when it pushes the bales out. I'm pretty sure it moves the vehicle along rather than moving the bales. I'm going to say a bale's pretty heavy once it's wrapped, so I think if I park it here, every time it turfs a bale out, it should roll forward a little bit, he says optimistically. Oh look, our bale is stuck behind a bale there. We'll sort that in a second. But we'll unhook this and we'll try and get that sorted. So what we do here, we actually jump into this as a vehicle. We unfold it, which doesn't do much visually. We start the engine. And we can move this about actually, I believe. We'll get it straight so it doesn't end up turfing anything into a field. So let's do that. Let's jump out. Let's go and grab a bale and see what happens, shall we? Just so happens we have one right in front of us. Okay, so that's interesting. We probably need a weight for the back of this tractor, or we're going to get ourselves in all kinds of trouble. Let's see if we can even get. We are on the jagged edge see if we can just get this to the edge of the field at least. And give this a test before we go and get a weight. There we go, it's in. Now, obviously we're not going to see this come out, we've only got one bale here, so we need to go and get a weight. We will be back. Right, we are back in business. We've got ourselves a weight for the back of the tractor, which should allow us to be a little bit more stable. He says as he manages to completely miss the bale he was trying to pick up there. Let's try that again. There we go. That's more like it. Both back wheels on the floor. Very helpful. So let's drop this in. Now technically with this bales pipe we might be able to pick up 2 at a time. Although that said, from a weight perspective, we might end up in the same predicament we've just had ourselves in there. So let's check again. I probably need a third one before they start to be ejected. Yes, looks like we do. Right, one more. I just want to make sure that I've positioned it in the right place. It's not going to cause me a whole heap of problems later on to move it. We better to move it now. I mean, that's not exactly elegant either. But I do want to check and see if we can lift 2 bales. I mean, it feels pretty light at the back end already. But I think I might be being a little bit optimistic, thinking I might be able to lift 2. In fact, look, that's the wheels off the ground again there, so... This is not pretty, I get that. God bless the snapping. Right, is it moving forward? We will find out now, I think. Still no. But equally, we do have quite a lot of space here, so we could just grab a load more bales and see what happens. I think that's what we're just going to have to do, is just charge on. So, with that in mind, I'll zoom out a little bit, and we'll go and get ourselves a whole big chunk of bales.
Sweet redemption, I will never let you down. Will it ever get sunny? Oh, I wonder, honey, baby, how you make me sway.
Right, and we have done a few of these now, and it's running really well. And as you can see, when you drop one off, it does extend and rolls forward as it wraps and unloads. There you go, you can see it in action there. And now I don't know what the maximum this takes is. How many have we got in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Looks like we've got 15 in there. And it keeps on going. I guess it just keeps going as far as it can until it runs out of space. So, quite interesting. And what we do, let's just bring up our HUD for a second. I stand next to this. Clover, 7,500 litres, fermenting 0% so far. But when this is ready, not sure you can do it now. When this is ready, you can unwrap it in the field and take it to wherever you need to. So, it's kind of handy. Quite like it. slightly different. Now, we're going to keep pushing on with these bales, but at the same time, I'm kind of thinking we've got a lot of crops that are ready here. We could probably do with getting the combine out and getting some of this cut. These are big fields, so we only have the one combine with a one header at the moment, so it's going to take a while, so we should probably get them started. Right, let's fire up one of the Lexians and get them into the field. I'm going to go with this one just because it's a little bit easier to get to. We know the honeybee header is parked outside. We don't even need to take it off its trailer because it is resting on the ground, which is quite good. The only thing I suppose we need to be careful of then is the ability to get it through the gates. And that might be a challenge. It might need to go on its trailer just to get out of the gates. Looks like it does. Okay. Right, let's get that sorted then. Now, it has been a while since I've done this, so I'm hoping I can drop this in the right place. And I believe it's that one. Yep. And then we'll spin this round here. And then we'll hopefully be able to hook all this up. He says, brimming with confidence. I don't know what to say. I'm a genius. How about that? How about that? Right, front piece on, and we will run this down to the field. Right, let's roll the header down there. There is our auger wagon, a nice Kinsey, so we'll go and grab that in a minute as well. We'll probably need to dig the truck out of the shed as well, so quite a few bits of kit to still get organised. And then we'll be on our way. This is a big field. We're going to start in this one dead over here, but actually it wraps all the way around there. It's separated. Technically, on the map, it's all one big field. So it's going to be interesting to see how Courseplay plays with it. Right, let's get this in a position where we can get it connected. Quite bumpy here, so we might need to turn around and come back the other way. In fact, what we're going to do is head right along to the end here, because these drops, if I drive into these in the wrong angle, I'm going to have this header upside down. There we go, that was the safest way to do it. And we'll roll all the way back up here and get hooked up. Right, let's unfold the harvester. There it goes. Now, we're going to cut a little bit of this out before we go and get the auger wagon. And the other thing, actually, it's probably beneficial to cut out an edge of this field here for our truck as well. This is such uneven ground with funny slopes on it. It's probably not ideal for the truck anyway, so actually being able to pull the truck into the fields is not a bad thing. So, let's get this spun up. Let's get the header lowered down, and let's make some headway. Now, I've had a look at the yield for this field. It's not looking great, if I'm being honest. So I think what we'll do is get this cut as quickly as we can, but we'll make more of an effort with next year's crop and the efforts we take to put it in the ground, because, let me just show you here. Expected yield 75%, 10 tonnes to the acre, and we could be getting almost 14. So somebody's not been doing as well as they could with us. But we're in. We've got this lovely class to work with, so we're going to crack on with it. Okay, that's the combine running nicely. You'll see we are dropping the swath. Now, we won't bale all this. This is a huge, huge field. But we will take some, because it will help us with our TMR and our feed for the animals, plus our bedding for the animals. So we'll definitely do that, but not all of it. Whatever's left in the field after we've decided we've got enough is probably just going to go and get ploughed under. Hopefully help for next year's crop. Right, it's probably not going to be too long before he's full up, so let's go and get the auger wagon, bring that over, and then we'll bring the truck over as well. Right, I'm excited to fire up the case and get it in for some action. Should be able to turn it right around here. Easy. Right, let's go and get the auger wagon. That's just here. And go and meet the combine. Right, here we are, making our way towards the combine. This is a wonderfully shaped field. I love this. So much fun. The up and down and the contours and the shape of the field, really nice. Now, the Kinsey cart is not that powerful. It needed 240 horsepower to run it, so we could have run it with a smaller tractor than this. Unfortunately, our smaller tractors just don't have that kind of horsepower, so we maybe are going a little bit extreme with the case, but at the same time, it doesn't look out of place, does it? Very nice. Got the digital scale on the side of this as well, which is nice. And now the way these fields are treated, this is almost like an island, the way this has been set up. So Courseplay's kind of recognising it as an island. If you want to split these two up, you can make that little green strip a little bit wider, and it should solve your problem. But we just thought we'd go grab both sections of this field together in one go. So the combine should turn around and come back down this way now, and then continue heading off over there into what's technically the second half of the field. Let's jump out so we can see. But yes, here it is coming back. We'll probably need to reverse a little bit more actually. Stay out of trouble. And it will link back around and head on away into the distance again. My first time using Sid's class combine in anger as well, and I've got to say, it is rather nice. Can't be miles away from being full actually. I'm trying to look inside the hopper. A bit to go yet. But I think that might be the 80% alarm there. What we'll do is we'll wait until it's completely full and cuts in. And then we can, then we don't have to chase it. And there we go. Unloaded for the first time. Fantastic stuff. Doesn't seem to have caused any issues, and we have 19,000 litres in our Kinsey, which is 49%, so we know we'll take 2 full loads in here before we need to unload again, so that's good. So with that in mind, I'm going to go and grab the truck as well. Right, let's roll the Kenworth out of here and get it down to the field. There should be enough space in that first header now to park this pretty comfortably. It is a long way though around that field for the auger wagon, so I'm kind of hoping that if we set up a little auto drive for it that it'll behave. But we shall see. Time will tell. Now as we follow the combine round here, I am undecided as to what to do with this wheat, if I'm being honest. Look at that, you drive around the corner and the field just disappears off all the way down. It's a huge field. But yes, as I was saying, I'm a little bit undecided as to what to do with it yet. It's going to go into our silo to start with, just to keep it there until either A, the price is right, or we decide what we're going to do with it. I may turn some of it into flour. We'll see what the demand is like and see what the price is like. More importantly than that, we of course have got the train as well, which can offer some interesting prices off map. So we may consider that as well, if the price is right. But for now, we're just going to enjoy combining this rather beautiful field. Right, I have just had a little bit of a play around with a very quick AutoDrive course. It's not going to be a permanent one. I'm going to wipe this soon because the guys from the AutoDrive creators have already built a beautiful course for this map, which I'll leave in the description below. But I am a little bit behind with my vids this week, if I'm being honest, and I haven't had a chance to update it yet and test it. But I just needed something for this field, so happy with that. We've got the auger wagon there, which is just off to go and collect from the combine, which has told it to go and find it again, which is good. We've got the truck here lined up ready to go, so that's good as well. So things looking good, so we'll just keep an eye on this, see how we go, and we'll report back shortly. Well, you've got to say this is positive. We've been called and are pre-called and waiting. In fact, we may even roll on here. But I've got to say, you know the old adage, you don't use an articulated tractor with courseplay and AutoDrive. That's why. That couldn't have been a worse timed comment, could it? As you know, I think it's always important to show that it doesn't all go to plan and it's a nice shiny vid that has this perfect AutoDrive course, because in reality it does have a few wobbles. I think this will be okay though, because what it'll do is wait till the combine's full and it'll roll up alongside it with no hassle. So let's just keep an eye on that. But yes, brilliant timing, FSG, way to go. Well, there you go, our combine has stopped, lifted its header and popped its auger out. So there we go. That's again promising. So we'll follow this. Hopefully he's not going to go on a crazy route, although it looks like he is. Why? Why? There was no need to do that. I maybe do need to tweak a few settings. I think we might get it to stick to field. Up until now it's been perfect. It's sod's law, isn't it? But we're good. We're good. Look, he's going to roll on and unload. That's all we wanted him to do. That's all we asked for. There we go. There you go. Restrict Pathfinder to field, restrict Unloader to field. That's what we wanted. Should have turned those on to start with. That was my fault. So we'll get this filled up now, and let's just see how clever he is about going over and unloading the truck over there. Well, what do you know? Everything's looking good. Well, with that in mind, I think we can sit back and relax and enjoy this a little bit. Spoke too soon again. It's See my misshapen angle in here to make the turn? It means the auger's too far away when get it right. So I'm going to have to redo this course slightly. But trial and error. It was pretty close. And the truck's away, so that bit's working. Not quite pleased with that. We're just going to make sure it goes through this gate now. And it does. Very close, but it does. And we're going to go round the top here. And if this unloads, I'm going to be quite pleased with myself. That's a whole heap of ticks in boxes. We just need to redo that auger course ever so slightly. That won't take long to do. But this is looking very promising. There we go. First time. Superb. Well, on that note, I think we'll leave this. We'll get everything set up and we will roll on with this very big field. And we will come back and we'll see you again in the very next episode. But for now, from me, the FarmSim guy, thank you very much for sticking with me on this one. Good old AutoDrive, eh? But on that note, take care. Enjoy the rest of your weeks, and I will see you again very soon. Bye for now.